Every relationship will have some conflict. Every marriage will have lots of opportunities for conflict. And every conflict can either make your marriage stronger or pull it apart. You've got to learn how to resolve conflict. Conflict, you need to understand, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Things are going to happen that are going to hurt you, that you're not going to understand, you're going to get disappointed. Conflict is inevitable. And it doesn't go away. Just ignoring it doesn't work. There's a hurt there, there's a situation, you can't just ignore it. You've got to take some action. If you don't, conflict will devastate your relationships. It eventually will pull you apart. But you need to understand that in the eyes of God, every conflict is an assignment to grow closer together, to grow as an individual. Every conflict is an assignment, not an accident. So view it that way. It changes everything. I also want to point out that there are 4 common, unwise ways to handle conflict, and these will devastate your marriage. Criticism. If you get a little hurt, what do? Instead of dealing with a conflict, we just start becoming critical of our mate. That doesn't work. Contempt. We just have a simmering sort of anger for our mate. That doesn't work. Defensiveness. We just always are defensive. I'm sorry, forgive me. What did I do now? That doesn't work either. Silence. You say, look, I'm just not going to say anything. Not going to talk anymore. Well, that doesn't resolve any conflict. That doesn't help anything. And eventually these 4 things can kill your marriage. But there are wise ways to handle conflict, and they're found in the Bible. The first way is just overlook. There's lots of things you don't have to make a big deal of. You can overlook. Proverbs 19 says it's a glory for a man to overlook an offense. So decide if it's worth being upset about. If it's not worth taking action over, let it go and forget about it. Don't take it personal. Let it go and forget about it. You say, well, I don't know if it's worth letting go or not. Well, let me give you a couple questions. Does it dishonor God? If it dishonors God, you're probably going to have to take action. Is it hurting other people? Is it hurting that person? If so, you're going to have to take some action. Is it damaging your relationship? If so, you need to take action. You can overlook an offense, but sometimes you need to take step 2, which is get the log out of your own eye, it says in Matthew chapter 7. Before I can point out the problems in you, I need to deal with my problems. I've told you before, I was frustrated with my wife and I began to pray that God would change her. God didn't answer. And I asked God, why aren't you answering? He said, well, you're praying the wrong prayer and you're praying for the wrong person. And I realized I needed to pray, God, change me. And when I started to change, my wife made changes. Get the log out of your own eye. Deal with your own problems first. What are you doing to make your marriage weaker? What are you doing to tear down your relationship? Get the log out of your own eye. The third one is, okay, there's a situation, need to make peace. And if I'm the problem, Matthew 5 says, I need to go. Before I even offer my gift of worship to God, I need to go to the person and try to make it right. Matthew 18 says, if the other person is the primary cause of the problem, I need to go to them and make it right. And Matthew 18 gives us 3 things to do when you go to make peace. First of all, it says, take action. Moreover, if your brother sins against you, go. Take some action. Don't just let it be. Don't ignore it. There's a time when you need to take some action and try to deal with it. Keep it private. Don't tell everybody about your problems. I was talking with a couple the other day, and she was frustrated because he was telling everybody about all their marriage issues. We said, look, you need to just tell people, they ask about your marriage, say, we're working on it. We're growing. We're learning. Keep it private. It says, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. Don't tell everybody else about it. Resolve it right there, just the 2 of you. And then seek restoration. You want him to hear you. You want her to hear you. You want to gain this relationship, it says. Seek restoration. Pray about it. Think about what you're going to say. Say it in a way that's not emotional. Say it in a way that's mature. Be objective. Own your part of the problem. Accept your responsibility for what you've done wrong or how you've responded to what they did wrong. Try to resolve this. Seek resolution. Do the best you can. And it will amaze you. If you really do try to resolve conflict with the help of God, God will help you. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter what your marriage has gone through. If both people are willing to work on it and resolve the conflict, they can end up with a very, very strong marriage.